Am I the asshole for going for a late night snack without telling my wife? The other night I worked a late shift. My wife gets home at 4 p.m. and picks up our daughter from daycare a little after 5. I had dinner already done in the fridge ready to go so she wouldn't have to cook. I get home at 8:45 p.m. and the kid is still not in bed, she's 3. Apparently my wife had a rough day and just felt worn out and couldn't fight with her to actually go to sleep. I put the girl to bed, and sleep with her for about half an hour until she goes out. I notice the bedroom light is off as well as all the other lights and assumed my wife just crashed and went to sleep. I try to chill and just decompress before sleeping, but I didn't have a proper dinner and I'm starving. No leftovers, so I quietly got dressed and popped across the street and grabbed a sandwich from a late night place. I was gone maybe 15 minutes. I get home and my wife is beside herself, crying and freaking out that she thought I left. I tried explaining that I thought she was asleep and didn't want to wake her up, hadn't had proper dinner and was starving. She was still very upset that I didn't even check to see if she was sleeping before heading out or telling her. But I know she gets up early and didn't want to wake her up if she was having a bad day. Am I in the wrong here? Should I have just put together something small at home and ate before bed? The only thing that saved my ass was I happened to grab a small bag of her favorite chips and a cookie as a side that I had to sacrifice to get her to not be mad. Nah, obviously you thought she was sleeping and tried to be considerate by not waking her. Totally fair. A word of caution though, she felt so exhausted that she couldn't face getting the toddler into bed, and when she heard you go out her first thought was that you'd left. It sounds like she's struggling or overwhelmed and maybe having some anxiety and/or depression. It might be worth trying to gently check in on that. Did you bring your phone with you? Because I'd have been like, what the fuck, where did you go? Oh, you did? You better bring me XYZ. But that's just me. I don't know the day your wife had. I mean, it's not the 90s anymore. Nah, and that's why you always leave a note. Biceps. Is your marriage so unstable that it's reasonable to assume you left? If not, her emotional reaction seems out of line. Not the asshole. Nah, this is a misunderstanding. Your wife is exhausted, so she's overreacting to the situation. Next time, check to see if she's sleeping before heading out. She might even have placed an order of her own with you if you had done that. You accidentally turned an opportunity to do her an easy favor into an unnecessary conflict. Hopefully your wife was just having an off night, as all parents do. If she regularly lacks the will to enforce the rules, your child may have problems down the line. Also, dang, why didn't you cook enough for yourself, too? And if you did, your wife didn't leave you any. But yeah, leave a note. Am I the asshole for calling out a woman in public for cutting a line? I am an under 20 years old Asian. I don't want to give out my age, man, in a small city in Canada. I was heading into a Costco pharmacy to get a COVID shot. I filled out a couple sheets of documentation and history info, and I lined up behind someone else to hand it in. The woman in question was leaning on a box of vitamins nearby. It looked like she was browsing the aisle end caps. As I was next in line, she walked in front of me, slammed her Costco card down, and turned away. I was confused and an elderly couple nearby also looked shocked. Therefore, I politely said the line was here, and I did not care that she was leaning on a box nearby. She then pretty much freaked out. I am a much taller guy at 6 female too, and she was smaller, so she started to back away while calling me rude. I kept on simply trying to explain where the line started. She just backed away and kept calling it rude. Finally, the pharmacist came out and basically asked what was the problem and separated us. I got to hand in the form and took a seat. Then, the pharmacist made me wait 1.5 hours before getting a shot. She spent most of the time sitting there and talking with her friends. The actions of the pharmacist made me question whether I was right or wrong. I'm not sure if I should have been the bigger person and let them first. Not the asshole. But as to the pharmacist, I would go to the manager of the Costco in question, tell them exactly what happened, and let the manager know that you did not appreciate waiting for 1.5 hours while the pharmacist yacked with her friends, as it is a place of business, not a social gathering. 1.5 hours? Why? I mean, you confronted the lady who butted in line. Why didn't you go to the pharmacist and ask what was going on? I mean, if there was a line out the door and around the block for various prescription-related services, fine. But, if that wasn't the case, where was the op who stood up to line skip Nancy? Not the asshole. Waiting for 1.5 hours is absurd and you need to complain to management. Not an asshole. I hate line cutters and have had plenty of pissing contests with those who do cut the line. The pharmacist had to separate the two of you? Like an elementary school teacher? I cannot judge. I am laughing too hard. Report the pharmacist to the BC College of Pharmacists, as well as the store manager. Am I the asshole for buying my grandma's car even though my cousin thought they could just have it? Okay, so my grandma was selling her car and I needed one, so I offered to buy it from her. We made a deal, everything was cool, and now it's mine. But then my cousin found out and they're pissed. Apparently, they thought they'd get the car for free since they visit my grandma a lot more than I do. They're all upset that I didn't check with them first, and now they're acting like I took something that should have been theirs. Honestly, I didn't think they even wanted the car, I just thought they borrowed it here and there. I feel like I didn't do anything wrong since my grandma and I made a legit deal, and I actually needed the car. But now it's all awkward and they're being weird about it. So, am I the asshole for just buying the car without talking to my cousin first? Not the asshole. The car was your grandmother's, she wanted to sell it, you wanted to buy it. She could have told you to wait and called to ask if they wanted to buy it first. Sounds like they wanted a free car and are bitter that they no longer have access to it. Is your grandma senile and can't make her own decisions? How is this anyone else's business but her? Not the asshole. Your cousin is crazy. They thought they should get it for free? What kind of entitled asshole is that? Here is a key point. My grandma was selling her car. Notice that it never occurred to the grandma that entitled cousin was going to get it for free. She's the one who put it up for sale. Not the asshole. If your grandma had some sort of deal with your cousin or if they had asked her first, that's one thing. But that would be between them. You in no way did anything wrong. How are you supposed to have intuited that they wanted it? Not the asshole. You paid. Cousin is a freeloader. Not the asshole 100%. Your grandma was selling, you bought. Which is totally okay. Apparently, they thought they'd get the car for free since they visit my grandma a lot more than I do. Your cousin doesn't even sound mature enough to drive. They should take this as a reality check that being an entitled age isn't going to get them anywhere. Am I the asshole for getting my hair done on vacation? Long story short, I've recently moved to Saudi Arabia with my husband. For context, as this will be required to fully understand the importance, I'm Afro-Caribbean with kinky curly hair. Our move from Toronto to Saudi was abrupt. I had very little time to get any affairs in order. Moving to Saudi is a huge life change. I had spoken to my husband before about my worries and queries as I have lived there before. One of my queries was the lack of Afro salons and haircare. Once moved, I had a very hard time finding someone who was well versed in Afro hair, that also would not cause any damage if given the opportunity to style it. Moving the main part of the story. We took a 5-day vacation to Dubai, and prior to leaving I asked if it was okay if I booked an appointment to get my hair done down there, as culturally there are much more stylists available who can provide healthy hair care. It will also allow me more time to see if I can eventually find someone where we live in Saudi. But honestly, it's been rough. No real social media presence or anything pops up during my Google searches. However, one quick hashtag for Dubai and honestly, so many businesses popped up. Anyways, hubby said it should be fine. I go to my appointment early in the morning, on time. The stylist is late to open the shop and then did a style that takes a lot longer than what I requested. I leave after being there for 7 hours. Get back to the Airbnb and hubby is furious with me, saying half the day is gone and I'm ruining the vacation. Then tells me he is not in the to do anything for the rest of the evening. Bear in mind it's 6:30 p.m. and there's still a million things we can do. For the rest of this evening he has completely ignored me, and made me feel as though I've ruined the entire vacation because of how long it took the stylist to do my hair. We still have 3 days left and I'm not sure how it's going to go. Right now I just feel like I can't do anything right. Am I the asshole? Edit. Thank you for all the responses. I truly appreciate everyone's feedback. Not the asshole, and I feel certain you actually know this. Or has your husband just been browbeating you into submission for the last however many years? A man in a relationship with a black woman who doesn't understand, 1. How important it is to find a stylist who actually knows how to work with black hair, and 2. That a black woman getting her hair done is often an all-day process, simply isn't ready to be in a relationship with a black woman. Why did he not make plans to do something else on his own on the day when you both agreed that you would be getting your hair done? So bro isolated you in a country that mistreats women, Saudi, and is now angry at you for solving an issue that he caused. From your post, you moved because of him. Not the asshole. Girl, what are you doing? Why are you living in Saudi Arabia? For a man who pouts all night? You need to seriously reevaluate every decision you have made that led you here. I really and truly mean that. Not the asshole. Him saying you are ruining the whole vacation is an extremely dramatic, egregious statement. Half the day is gone, he says. That's not a thing in Dubai. He acts like you are connected at the hip. He's acting unhinged. It's Dubai. It'd be like cool, see ya, call when you're done. Nothing more. Not the asshole. Bestie, it's not your fault that you deserve high quality treatment for your crown. It's not a crime to be a queen. I feel like everyone and their mama knows that hair care can take a while depending on the style. He should know by now that no black hair salon ever finishes on time. My dad just says to my mom, I'll see you next week every time she's off to get her hair done. My fiancé says I'll see you when I see you. I'm sorry your husband doesn't seem to understand or want to understand this. Not to mention most hairstylists could be doing multiple people's hair at the same time. He decided to ruin the vacation himself. I'm sorry you had to deal with this, from a fellow black girl in Canada.